This is sports talk, so it's just the boys. So the girls aren't here, so we ain't got to do all the extra stuff. What's happening? No, we talking about the NBA season is finally over. Lakers, shout out to Kobe, champions once again. So we just want to go in here and just discuss, who we think are the winners and losers from the league, man. And we just gonna start off with the Hawks. You got anything to say about the Hawks?
Yes. So with the Hawks, I'm putting my losers bracket for this year. I expected a lot more out of the rookies, especially Cameron. He didn't do much this year. And Trae Young is just putting them empty stats. They're not doing anything to help their team win games. They are losers this season.
So are you saying, did you expect them to make the playoffs?
Yeah.
What are you saying, the losers?
I actually did. I expected them in the Eastern Conference.
It's hard to say, especially with the season and the season how it played out with Rona and everything. Clint Capella got a chance to impact that team, and I think that team's biggest issue is defensively, and that's where Clint Capella shines. So I'll give them a win this season because of what I'm looking forward to seeing from next season. Everything kind of put together in another year with the rookies and the sophomores being able to develop. They'll make some more noise next year. The East is going to be a lot tougher next year. So,
okay. Your star forward gets busted for drug possession and can't even play.
Because who cares about that?
He's the reason they couldn't win any games.
He'll be all right. That's why I said another year of progression and maturity.
How do you feel about it, man?
Well, I think it's a win because I think Trae Young really showed that he can he had good stats. He made the All-Star game for the first time. He was I think he led the league in assists. No, that was wrong. But he was third and second in assists. So I think they have a good leader, Trae Young. I think they can definitely fight for a playoff spot next year.
This is why he can't have empty stats. It's not empty stats. He was getting the ball around to everybody else. Not everybody, just because you can't get empty stats and assists because you have to rely on your other team to make the shot, or you have to pass the ball in the perfect position for them to score. That's why it's not empty stats. He just needs more help. And they just need to play defense. That's what it is. They have no defense. They don't defense. All right, moving on. The Cleveland Cavaliers. Nothing to say. It's just like the Knicks. And no L.
Wait, is LeBron on the team this year?
Whose team?
On the Cavs. That's
no,
what
he is not.
Oh, then it's an L. If LeBron's not on the team, it's an automatic L. We can move on. Come on. Nothing else to say.
Bro,
whoa.
Name one team.
Bro, I will name you all the good things about that.
They have Tristan Thompson, Andre Drummond, and Larry Nance Jr. all trying to play center and all trying to start, and none of them.
Well, Larry Nance Jr. prefers, but I digress. One good thing about the Cleveland Cavaliers, the new coach every season.
All right, moving on. The people who traded Andre Drummond to the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Pistons.
I have no idea what that franchise is doing. They got rid of Andre Drummond, but for some reason kept Blake Griffin and that big old contract, and he always injured and can't even play basketball and stay floor for a season. Then they still have Derrick Rose. Are they looking for Derrick Rose to be their future? What are they doing? Are they going into rebuild mode or not? Because they made it seem like they were, and then they kept two of their other pieces that should have been kicked off the team or traded or whatever. If they're going into a rebuild,
yeah, they didn't even get that much for Drummond. They got 2 second-round picks and a bum. Like they didn't get anything for Andre Drummond, who like I guess Andre Drummond just has no value in the league anymore. Because like they didn't get any return for him at all. Well, yeah.
No. I mean, they do have Christian Wood. He bought out towards the end of last season, so maybe there's that. And I just think that they couldn't move Blake Griffin because they was the only ones who wanted Blake Griffin when he got traded to them with that big old contract. And there's no you're not gonna get rid of Blake Griffin. He's on the team. You made that trade, and he's gonna have to wait till his contract is over. He's on the team.
He's gonna get stuck there like Luol Deng and Timothy Mozgov in LA. Let's just say
And
I was not very happy.
All right, who's the next team?
So we're gonna just do all the East because I don't live on the East. I've never lived on the East. I don't have no emotional ties to most of these teams. Nothing really. I don't really care. But we're gonna go ahead and go to the Knicks. L. The Knicks are gonna be L until L stops being a letter in the alphabet. It's just ridiculous what's going on with the Knicks. And
But they still have
I
their
feel
cap
bad
space,
for
right?
Stephen A. Smith, my dog.
They still have their cap space, right?
You said what?
They still have their cap space, right?
Yeah, who they gonna use it on? They gonna get
Who's
Kevin
going
Durant
there?
and Zion Williamson?
Who's going there? Who's going there? Who wants to play for the Knicks?
Danilo Gallinari.
Do you want to
play? No.
Not
Not even my career. Not even my career where I can average 50, 20, and 20.
The Knicks are so bad. They constantly have the worst in the league and can never get the first pick. They just have bad luck. Yeah, I like Matt Guard, but the Knicks are just trash. Even the Habs, they forward. Who is next? Hell.
Now, this team actually hurts my feelings because he thought with what team was that? The Hawks would go get into playoffs. I just knew my Bulls, well, not even my Bulls, but the Bulls were gonna get into playoffs because they just had a roster just full of talent. And I'm still gonna give them a W because I still feel like they have a roster full of talent. They also have the number 4 pick in the draft. They also fired their coach, who I feel like was the reason for all their struggles. Because I just feel like their coach couldn't get through to them, and their coach couldn't come up with the right schemes for them. So I'm giving them a W because next season is gonna be fire. This season they were trash. Next season, let's go.
Well, I am a very avid supporter of Kenny Beecham from House of Highlights. And he is a lifetime Bulls fan. And I'm just happy to see Jim Boylen get out of there, for his sake. So also because they fired Jim Boylen, I give them a W. I don't think he should coach anywhere else. I think that should be his last stop.
The moment he put in a time clock in the locker room, I would have fired that man. The moment he would have put a 1960s punch clock into my locker room, he would have got fired.
You gotta fire him before he clocks in, so you don't have to pay him.
Yeah.
Why? The average age of the team was like 25. They don't even know what that is. They've never seen one. They've never used one.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, next team.
Go back to college.
The Hornets.
L.
Wait.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on. I mean, I don't know. I don't think Jordan knows what's going on with his team. I think Jordan's just right now. I don't know. Maybe he's just trying to do a little quick couple year reset after he made that stupid Terry Rozier decision.
Yeah,
I don't think it was a dumb decision to get Terry Rozier. It was just dumb to pay him that much money, because he's always been a 6 man. Like,
I mean, the only good thing is they do have the 3rd pick in the draft, so we can see them possibly change around the future, get a nice player. Because I mean, people are saying this is a
who drafted Kwame Brown number 1? No faith.
Okay.
No faith. No faith. None. Zero. And Jordan been making documentaries, so he ain't been focused and actually paying attention to what's going on. No, bro.
That's
I
not
have
his
zero faith.
job. That's the general
He's the
manager's
owner.
job.
Yeah,
He the
they
owner.
got
The general manager is doing his job.
Well,
He's supposed to act. Who are we drafting this year? Look at successful franchises. Their owner and their GM and their coach. All three of them be tight.
did you say Frank Vogel, Jeannie Buss, and Rob Pelinka are very close friends? That's what I heard.
we in the East. In the East.
He's a great example. The Warriors are a great example. The Spurs are a great example. Like the Spurs, they just going through a time. They just have young talent and they don't really have a direction because all their stars left, and they were just like, oh,
We have
we gotta work on.
DeMar DeRozan.
We got the future to worry about, don't we? It's okay. It's okay. The Spurs will once again get it together. Although I do feel like Doc's time as a coach is coming to the end.
Pop.
Just off what I say.
Doc.
Oh yeah, his time as a coach is coming to the end. I just feel like after Timmy Ginobili and Tony Parker left, I just feel like his passion.
Hey, Tim Duncan's still there as assistant coach.
And that might be the only thing that keeps him around. But I think he's trying to get Tim Duncan to agree to take over at some point.
Well, I don't know because Pop went on record in an interview. Like I watched the interview live, and he said that one of his lead assistants, Becky Hammond, deserves.
Oh no, Becky for sure. Give it
deserves
to
a
Becky.
head coaching job in this league.
Give it
So
to
I feel like
Becky.
if he left, probably tell the GM, the ownership, like, hey, I think Becky should take my job.
You're right. Becky the one.
Okay, since we
Becky
switched to
won.
the Spurs, I give them an L.
Miss
for
Becky go now.
So I give the
Who?
Spurs
The
an L
Spurs?
for the season because they didn't
No.
get much in the Kawhi Leonard trade. In
Who?
hindsight, they got DeMar DeRozan, whose game he just has like no value pretty much, and then they got Jakob Poeltl, which he's solid. He's not anywhere near what Kawhi Leonard was or will be, and yeah, it was just a bad trade for the Spurs, and now they're kind of in no man's land.
I wouldn't say it was a bad trade because when you have a disgruntled player on your team that's supposed to be the leader and your best player, it's kind of hard to just force him to be there and play.
And nobody's going to want to give you too much for him because they know that he's going to leave you anyway and they can possibly go out there in free agency. So they're not going to say, all right, well, let's give this player what he's actually worth. Let's give this team something because they don't want to lose him for nothing.
But look
But
at
I
the
do
Anthony
agree that
Davis trade.
Oh, go ahead, Sean.
I said, look at the Anthony Davis trade. They got Brandon Ingram, who was most improved player this year. They have Lonzo Ball, who works well with Zion Williamson. They be throwing half-court lobs. And they got Josh Hart. They got picks. And then compare that to what the Spurs got for Kawhi. It's literally nothing.
AD is a more high profile player than Kawhi. I mean, maybe not at the time. Actually, maybe not. Maybe they should have.
And then also,
but he was also coming off that injury.
Yeah.
AD's always coming off an injury.
also, the thing with AD, the Lakers had young players. Toronto didn't really have young players that had proven themselves to be valuable in the league yet. And, the Lakers did. So they were able to give up those young pieces. And then also,
the Spurs don't have a star to build around either.
Yeah.
Like when the Lakers gave up all their complementary pieces for AD, they still had LeBron. The Spurs literally had just Kawhi. And it was like, well, we got to get something for him.
Yeah, and then also AD had still the 2 years left on his deal instead of just one like Kawhi. So you have a little bit more leverage as a franchise when you can say, well, I don't have to get rid of him right now. And the Lakers who wanted him right now.
because LeBron wanted him right now.
So that's how they were able to have more leverage, the Pelicans.
But I'm still going to agree with Shaddai and the Spurs get an L.
Yeah.
But how did you feel about the Hornets?
Also.
We were talking about the Hornets. We just kind of segue to the Spurs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Hornets, they're L for me. Like, I don't have much to say about them.
So moving on to the next team, Washington Wizards. I don't really know what to give the Wizards. I mean, for this season, I guess I'll give them an L. Of course, they also don't play any defense, because at the beginning of the season they were scoring the most points in the NBA. Period. Wasn't no one scoring more points than them. They can score, they just can't stop anyone else from scoring either. And so they gotta play better defense. And I don't know if John Wall coming back from his injury is gonna help, because I don't know if he's gonna have his explosion. I realized that, in practice videos he looks great, he looks explosive. However, he's playing against normal people and not NBA caliber players. So when he gets against real competition that's just as good as him, I don't know if he's going to have that same kind of speed or ability. And without that, I don't know if John Wall's going to be able to play NBA basketball, at least at the level that he was playing, or even close to it. So unless they get a defensive presence, mindset, or anything next season, it's going to be an L next season too, no matter how good Bradley Beal is.
As a big John Wall supporter, big John Wall fan, he said that he's coming back this season better than ever. That would be great, although I don't believe it.
I think everybody says that before every season.
Watching the highlights, of his little practice videos, his jump shot still doesn't look like it's fast enough for him to get it, off against NBA defenders at a consistent rate. And with the loss of explosion, he's going to need a more consistent jump shot. Look how Derrick Rose kind of translated his game. He was never really a shooter. Now he's over 40%. John Wall is going to have to really work on that jump shot and that three-point jump shot if he expects to really make contributions to his team's winning. And for that reason, they're still on an L for me.
And John Wall was never that good of a defender either. Like, he wasn't bad, he just wasn't amazing.
I think they have to blow it up. I don't think you could trade John Wall with his contract and his injury history, but I think you definitely have to look to trading Bradley Beal, because even when John Wall and Bradley Beal were healthy, they didn't get past like the second round. So like now you don't really have much more than you had then. So I think, I know the Wizards have said constantly that they're not going to trade Bradley Beal, but I think they definitely have to start looking into it.
Yep. Because I also don't know what their draft pick situation is, but I don't think it's good. So we gotta get something.
I think it's like 7 or 8. I would.
No, I'm talking about like
how Washington has a nice pick.
They have like in the first round, like for the next couple years. I don't really know their situation like as deeply as other teams, but it doesn't look good. Moving on to the Orlando Magic.
I can give them a dub. It's a dub for me, and here's why. Number one, they were able to get actual, like, real production from Markelle Fultz.
You're not starting this.
What? No, watch this. We have Markelle Fultz completely off, and he's still not a number one pick. Okay, he's not there. Okay, I get that. But as a guy who, by this point, many of us saw out of the league, he's getting actual production, and he's being productive on the court, shooting pretty efficiently. And the Orlando Magic, as a franchise, got to play all of their playoff games at home. How is that not a W?
Oh my God.
W for the Orlando Magic.
No, for the Orlando Magic, it's an L for me, because Jonathan Isaac, one of their most promising players, went down with an injury. And he was like for like an all defensive team this year, like with the way he was playing. I mean, I don't watch a lot of Magic games, but the Magic games that I did watch, he was clamping up. And then he showed a lot of promise. He was like developing on the offensive end as well. And then he just had that injury at the end, which kind of ruined their season.
Yeah, I see what I'm agree with Shaddai. It's an L because of that injury, but I'm also gonna talk about, how although they lost a defensive presence and a rising star, because he can score the ball too offensively. Like that boy can play. But this also makes the Orlando Magic's decision-making process about their roster harder because they still have too many big men on their roster, and it's hard to decide who to get rid of when you don't know who's what's gonna do, because you can't just say, oh, we'll just keep Isaac and rely on Isaac because this might be a chronic thing. He may continue to be injured. You have Vucevic that's still there. You can't start nobody over Vuce. You got Aaron Gordon, who should be playing power forward center.
Mo Bamba.
You're not really starting nobody over him. Isaac was being forced to play the three, and you can see from players like Aaron Gordon, like Tobias Harris, they are not threes, bro. Like maybe back in the day, way back in the day, they used to be threes, yes, but now in today's game, those are fours. Those are power forwards, and you can't put them on wing players because it doesn't match up. And it's so hard to make decisions about the team because you don't know who's going to be reliable and what moves to make. Because I honestly think the Magic would have felt more comfortable getting rid of Aaron Gordon if they knew if Isaac didn't get hurt. If Isaac didn't get hurt, I feel like Aaron Gordon would be a surefire. It's time to move on for you, bro, and see what this future looking like. And now I think what they're going to try to do is probably just move like Mo Bamba, who hasn't been able to really get no minutes and get no shine and get no play anyway. So I want Mo Bamba to go somewhere else because Mo Bamba actually came in the league with a lot of hype and he hasn't been able to showcase anything because he's stuck behind in the back of the rotation.
I think someone like the Celtics should try to see what their value for Mo Bamba is. Because the Celtics, they have a lot of wings. Like they have like Romeo Langford, Carson Edwards. They have like 3 picks in this draft. I think they could definitely try. I think they could definitely go for a Mo Bamba player because like he's like coming into, he was versatile. He has a large wingspan.
Yeah, and then that's also a team that struggles as far as finding interior defenders.
Yeah.
They're relying on Daniel Tice to pretty much do it all. And then, they have so many wing players that Jason Tatum, who I think fits better at the small forward position, is forced to play power forward because you can't sit Jason Tatum and bring him off the bench, but you also don't want to bring Gordon Hayward off the bench.
And you sure can't put him as a 4.
And then you definitely don't want to put Jaylen Brown on the bench. So now with these 3 wing guys, you are forced to play them all 3 at the same time.
Moving on to probably the team that's going to have the most hype in the East next season.
Is it the Nets?
It's the Brooklyn Nets.
Steve Nash, Coach Nash. So the addition of Coach Nash, I'm going to say is an L. And here's the only reason. Kyrie Irving came out and said that some nights he'll be the head coach, he himself. Other nights, it'll be Kevin Durant. Other nights, it'll be Jacque Vaughn. He said that he doesn't view Steve Nash as the head coach of this team. And when he said that each night somebody different between himself, Kevin Durant, and their assistant coach, Jacque Vaughn, could act as the head coach in that situation, that was very disrespectful to the actual man who holds the job, Steve Nash, number one. And number two, I just don't see that, them not respecting him enough to view him as their head coach when that's what he is. I just don't think that this can work out. And so either Steve Nash has to go or he has to find a way to get through to these teams like, hey, yeah, I am the coach. And if he can't do that, then it's an L.
If I was Jordan, I'd call the Nets and I'd be like, hey, bro, I know y'all, I know you guys have Kyrie, y'all got KD. I understand, that's y'all, that's who's gonna get y'all to the championship, y'all think, right? Do you really want to deal with Kyrie? Let me take Kyrie off your hands, bro. Because I also feel like the Nets are gonna do something stupid now, like get rid of Spencer Dinwiddie, like move Karis LeVert. Like I feel like some move Jared Allen might be on the chopping block because now you got Kyrie there who think he's the owner, the coach, and the star player, and KD's personal bodyguard for when the media wants to attack him. Like Kyrie thinks he think he is the Brooklyn Net.
Then you got Twitter fingers Kevin Durant.
And it's not even Twitter fingers Kevin Durant. It's Twitter fingers whatever Kevin Durant name chooses to be today. Because he even admitted, I still got my burners. Bro, just clap back on your personal account. Stop being a punk. Clap back.
Samuel Dakis talking bad about me. I'm coming for you.
Come for me, KD. Come for me. Whether it's your burner account or your real account, I can go to war with both of them. I'll go to war for it. I will, because guess what? Stop being a punk.
Yeah, honestly, I say it's the L for the Nets. I'm really not high on them for next season because Kyrie has had a lot of like injuries recently. Like when it was Celtics injured, he was injured this season. So I'm not sure
for them if he's injured. Because then KD is the star. And KD knows how to play the right way. You don't got to deal with Kyrie trying to be Kobe Jordan, Charles Barkley wrapped into one.
And you still have Spencer Dinwiddie.
They give him respect. I already know.
Well, I think this is the last year of his contract, or did he sign an extension?
He didn't sign. They ain't signing him to an extension with Kyrie on the team.
No, I'm talking about before they got Kyrie.
No.
So that means I think he's gonna walk.
I think Spencer's a free agent.
Yeah, I think he's gonna walk.
No, it's not gonna be a walk. It's gonna be we not paying you, bro. Let me see what Spencer. I gotta look him up.
He has 1 year and one player option, so 2 years.
This year and then next year is a player option.
Oh, is this year the play option?
No.
So next year.
So next year is the play option.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I still think they're gonna get rid of Spencer. For some reason,
I don't think they did.
I think they're gonna get rid of Spencer because, well, maybe they won't get rid of him, but I really won't.
I think they're gonna want to keep him and he walks.
I want him to go because I don't want him to turn into Lou Williams because he's not a Lou Williams. Lou Williams can only score, so he's a perfect sixth man for life. Is he a starting caliber scorer? Yes, he is. If he is a starting caliber player, no, he's not. I'm sorry. But Spencer Dinwiddie is. Spencer Dinwiddie should be starting on somebody's team. And to watch him wallow out on the bench because of Kyrie, KD, and DeAndre Jordan wanted to come over to the Nets to have their little friendship moment and go mess up his chance to shine.
I'll take Spencer Dinwiddie on the Lakers. He can run the 1 or the 2, his choice.
He come in and 1 and 2
at the same time. 4 on 5.
4 on 5. With KD and AD, I mean with KD, with AD and LeBron in the game, they can run 4 on 5 with Spencer Dinwiddie.
Well, AD, have fun. You gonna really win Defensive Player of the Year. You playing 4 on 5.
It would work.
All right. Who's next?
Moving on from the Brooklyn Nets, because I'm gonna get enough of hearing about them in the actual season.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and talk about the 76ers. They got a W because they got Doc Rivers. Not only do they have Doc Rivers, do you know who else they signed as the assistant coach?
Dave Yeager. That's my guy.
They signed Dave Yeager. It's gonna be lit. It's gonna be lit because I feel like Doc is gonna be able to figure out that big man issue between Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Al Horford, and Tobias Harris, who is stuck playing the 3, which he's not a 3. But I feel like Doc is gonna be able to figure them out.
I give them an L. I don't think the Doc Rivers signing is a W. I believe the Lob City Clippers had a better team than the Sixers have right now, and he couldn't get them past the second round. I don't think that this move is going to propel the 76ers even to a conference finals berth. I just don't see it happening. So I'm giving them an L. So far, they haven't really made any moves to make any changes.
Yeah, for now, I'm gonna give them a W because Dave Yeager, he's my guy because he was the former Kings coach, and the Kings had the best season in like 14 years under him. But the thing about Dave Yeager is when Dave Yeager was the head coach of the Kings, they were like one of the fastest paced teams in the league. And I think that would really suit Ben Simmons when Joel Embiid is off the floor, so they could push the pace. And they having Dave Yeager help Doug Rivers, like doing that would be very good for them. And then also a lot of like the media is saying that Tobias Harris has his best year under Doc Rivers with the Clippers.
Facts.
So yeah, I think
job. He was like, I get to coach Tobias again. Let's go.
So I think it's a W. I think the East is going to be really tough next season. I really have to see the offseason because the Bucks might do something in the offseason. The Celtics might do something in the offseason.
Miami might do something in the offseason.
Miami might do something. So yeah.
If I was Miami, I wouldn't be doing nothing. I'd run it back because Kent Nunn, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson with another year, I'd run it back.
But they have a lot of cap space.
They do have a lot of cap.
They
bench. I would go work on their bench for sure. I mean, but their bench is tough.
If they can go out there and get a top tier guy,
they tough.
It's a couple of nice free agents this year. So if they can go out and get one of them guys.
What free agents?
Well, you got Anthony Davis.
He's not leaving.
It doesn't matter.
Next. Whoa.
There's no point. No, it's not hypothetical. There's literally no reason to even talk about it. It's like every time LeBron signs a 1-year deal with the team, he's signing the next year. No, cap. AD staying with LA. It doesn't matter.
You got Giannis.
He ain't going nowhere either.
Whoa, I heard Giannis
He's not even a free agent this year. He's a free agent next year.
They need to stop. He's from Greece. He's Greek. He's loyal. It's different. It's a different type of life.
Giannis to Miami.
He's not a free agent this year, though.
And he's not going. He's a free agent.
Oh, man.
It's
I'm ahead. I apologize.
And who else is a free agent?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He ain't doing nothing. They staying put. Moving on.
You might as well just stay with the Heat.
They were actually next on the list.
So of course,
Eastern Conference. Not even Eastern Conference champions, runner-ups for the title. No one expected them to be there. Everyone said Jimmy Butler was the problem. Obviously, he was not the problem. You could see he is that man. Tyler Hero is a bucket. Hero ball. Kendrick Nunn is going to be nice off that bench coming for the sixth man. Honestly, when Roderick said he was going to play in Game 6, I said, please don't. Let Nunn keep playing. Just let Nunn keep playing, bro. It's cool. Nunn was playing some ball.
He struggled in the playoffs, particularly early on in the playoffs, and then really fell out of rotation. And then, in the finals, Dragic went down, and, he came in, and it was a slow start, but you could definitely see little glimpses of what he could really be.
Yeah. And then, like I said, Robinson, I really think being in this finals and having this is going to really help Robinson and Hero learn how to get their shot off. Because I feel like this season, obviously as rookies, Hero as the rookie, they were getting wide open shots and they were just proving to be able to make them. Hero obviously was showing that he could just get a bucket, like when they was putting the ball on the floor or shooting it. But with the playoff game, especially in the finals with LeBron, they really got to see how hard it is to get a bucket at any time. And I feel like this is going to help them to know what they need to do to improve, to be able to really just clip whenever they want. Because they can clip whenever they want. They both struggle with consistency, but I feel like that's going to help, like I said, with another year. With this whole year, how they played, next year, they gonna be rough. They're going to be rough.
And then, of course, a W for me. Like everybody said, nobody expecting them to get out of the second round. Let's just be honest. We all expected Jimmy to dominate TJ Warren and get past the Pacers. So the sweep right there, nobody was surprised. But to get out of Giannis's team, the Bucks, and
basically sweep them.
Now, what I will say is that series, I didn't think it was gonna be 5 games. I thought it was gonna go like 6. But I thought that he was gonna pull out. For the reason being that even during the regular season, like they asked Jimmy Butler, they was like, "How do you feel about matching up with the Bucks in the playoffs?" He was like, "Did they beat us this year?"
It sounds like Jimmy.
This year. Okay, that's my answer. And so I was like, "These are facts. They did not beat the Heat.
Yeah.
They had best record in the league and did not beat the Heat."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just want to give Jimmy his props. He went to Minnesota, got their first playoff berth in like a while, and then it wasn't working there. Karl Anthony Towns, he doesn't want to play defense. Wiggins doesn't want to play at all. Then he went to the Sixers. Joel Embiid, he can't stay in shape. Ben Simmons does not know what a jump shot is, and he's like, "I'm gonna go to the Heat. I got Tyler Hero, who actually knows how to shoot. Duncan Robinson, who knows how to shoot, and he got them to the conference finals.
And Eric Spoelstra, who knows how to keep his players in line and do what he wants them to do."
And then look, also, I've always been a big Jimmy Butler fan.
And Udonis Haslem, who gonna let you know, like, you gonna do what he say, or we gonna have a problem. And you're not fighting Udonis Haslem.
But here's one thing that I always told people when they would, say Jimmy Butler's a problem wherever he's been. Like, number one, he's been to the playoffs wherever he's been. That's something Karl Anthony Towns couldn't say until Jimmy got there. Wiggins couldn't say until Jimmy got there. And so how is he their problem?
And Karl Anthony Towns can't say that after Jimmy left.
Right.
He the only year he went to the playoffs.
He got two hands.
Jimmy.
He grabbed Karl Anthony Towns with one, grabbed Wiggins with the other, and said, "Y'all come into the playoffs because I'm not missing it." And then he goes to Philly and gives them an actual closer. They didn't have anybody to say, "Okay, it's a close game. We can get you the ball, get us a bucket." They had Jimmy though. When they had Jimmy, he did exactly that. And how is
back on it? The Sixers could have won last year because literally, it was a Kawhi Leonard game winner in Game 7. In the second round, that series was extremely close. We saw what Jimmy Butler did to Giannis. We saw what Jimmy Butler did to Giannis this year. So who can't say he could have done that last year? And the Warriors were playing.
Exactly. And then also, as soon as Jimmy's gone, Joel Embiid is making it very clear that he wanted him beat. So
he was crying. He was like, Jimmy, please. Jimmy, not.
Then he goes to Miami and he's able to have a coach with a very strong basketball IQ who's very defensive minded, as Jimmy is, with a bunch of defensive minded dogs, because it's just the way the Heat play. And so he's like, I'm in Disney World right now.
And we didn't talk about Bam Adebayo. It's W's all around in Miami. It is W's. The Pacers, I'm going to give them a W too, because I didn't expect the Pacers to play this well.
Yeah, Brogdon really surprised me.
They surprised me. And Warren, I don't know, when Warren decided that he was a bucket. when he went to Disneyland or Disney World and decided that he was a bucket.
He's a con man, not a bucket. He showed everybody, look at me. I can play some basketball. Watch me. Every game they played the Heat, even in the seeding games, Jimmy said, never mind.
Jimmy did that to Giannis. Jimmy's a boy. We can't fault the player for going against Jimmy Butler. It's like when people say, well, against LeBron, they playing LeBron. It's a whole different game. Apparently,
but he didn't have not one game where he outshined Jimmy. Not one.
You name one game where Giannis outshined Jimmy. You name one.
Well, Giannis only played 2 of the games.
First of all, LeBron didn't outshine Jimmy. His team won.
His team was better.
Jimmy Butler owns real estate in TJ Warren's head.
That's
all I'm trying to get across. Jimmy Butler's son's name is TJ Warren, and he's a grown man playing for the Pacers.
Out of pocket.
All right, who's next? Jimmy Butler owns TJ Warren, Giannis, and Chris Middleton.
Chris Middleton, homeless.
Who's Jimmy Butler? Have you seen him?
border like Django.
That whole heat
Fucking
ticket.
mechanic. I don't know if it's the radiator or the alternator. Either way, it's gonna cost you about $1,300.
But you seen Solomon Hill, Andre Iguodala, and Jimmy Butler? They was
Bruh,
looking
they was
like
homeless court 3.
Right.
the homeless big three right there.
They was for sure outside the shelter waiting to get in. Like, woo.
Right. That's some. Now I see why Jimmy Butler got to sell coffee.
Moving on to this team who, throughout the course of NBA history, doesn't take many L's. The Celtics. The Celtics are, even though what I will say, they underperformed this year, but they still have a bright future. It's still a W because it's just tooling the team until you get to that spot. The Warriors wasn't a dynasty all overnight. It took years. Clay, Steph, Draymond were there for years before they made this huge dynasty and playoff run where they just kept going years and years and years in a row. It takes time, and I feel like the Celtics still have that potential, and they're still in that course with that team and those players. And it just wasn't their year. And when you find someone to be able to guard big men, they don't even have to be a starter, But once they find somebody who can guard a big man, I feel like they're gonna be okay. They'll be okay.
And
so it's still a W.
Yeah, I give them a W as well. Letting go of Al Horford, great idea. We can see that this season, you can see that he was just really played well because of the way the Celtics are run and because of their system. He didn't really do too much this year in Philly. He's always been a great rebounder. This year, not so much.
That's not fair.
Very sporadic in minutes as well.
That's not fair.
What's not fair?
For you to say that Al Horford ain't a boy because he had to deal with Joel Embiid being that guy. Joel Embiid is the one that gets all the rebounds. Joel Embiid is the guy that the game is focused around. Al Horford had assists because he was almost kind of playing like Jokic. He wasn't handling the ball, but he would get to the middle of the floor. They would give him the ball. Everyone would run around him, and he would make the right reads. And that's how Jokic plays, low key. And being on that team with the 76ers, it didn't fit. That roster, that move didn't fit, especially with the amount of money they gave him. Because then you can't put him on the bench because he makes too much money.
Yep. You
gotta have him play because you can't just pay him all this money to not play. Then you got Ben Simmons who wants to. It clogs up the paint because Ben Simmons is gonna drive the ball to the paint. Joel Embiid is best in the paint. Horford is best in the paint. Tobias Harris is best in the paint.
I would argue he's best in the middle of the floor.
Mid-range, okay, maybe in mid-range, but even still, like
it's still not open.
Mid-range and paint is a lot closer than 3-point paint.
Yeah.
And that team was just too clogged up in the middle, so you couldn't really get no movement, and you really couldn't let Horford play his style of game, which he's a smart player.
Mm-hmm.
But he can't make moves and reads if everything's clogged up. It ain't no moves and reads. And you see Jimmy Butler was there last year, and then he leaves to a different team and goes to the finals. So let Horford go back to the Celtics where he should have been, and maybe the Celtics are in the finals. Because he worked, like you said, he worked with that system. And I feel like that trade was a mistake.
I think Horford left in free agency.
Yeah, they let him walk. Yeah, that's what it was.
But I think they did overpay for Horford, to be honest. He's up there.
And that's why Celtics didn't try to keep him. It was like, we're not paying that. Like, he's good, but we're not paying that.
But another thing with Boston, I say that you guys were talking earlier about that being a good fit for, was it Mo Bamba?
Yeah.
And then another guy I can see going there that has kind of struggled to really prove himself because he hasn't been able to get a lot of touches. It's Bol Bol. Another guy who
I think the Nuggets want to keep him.
Another guy who coming into the draft was had a lot of hype everybody was on the ball train, just like everybody is on the Taco Fall train.
That was hype. That wasn't like
That's what I said.
that was popularity. I wouldn't say that was hype.
I got
They
you.
was very popular because they was weird body type, kind of weird, but still effectively somehow players. It was a lot of like popularity with them. It wasn't a lot of hype because you even saw like Bobo, as tall as he is, he cannot bang in the paint. He's too small.
But as a
Barbecue
wing,
chicken alert.
playing a small forward, that boy is nice.
He can't play defense well enough. He can't move his feet. Because he moves like a center, but he ain't strong like a center. That's the problem with Bobo. I wouldn't put him on the Celtics. I would let the Nuggets keep progressing him and building him up. But I do what you're saying. And Taco Fall, the same thing. He's just
Put
tall.
Bobo under Brad Stevens. I like that.
And wasn't Fall on the Celtics?
He is.
Yes.
Yeah. So why did if he should be there, like play the man? He's obviously not that good.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, Taco Fall did have like a negative Fendi plus minus because he let OJ Anunoby hit that 23.
No, because in the bubble, without the fans and with the team benches being like behind all that extra padding stuff, it opens up so much extra space on the sideline. Kyle Lowry is not getting that pass over Bol on a regular NBA arena sideline. He doesn't have that extra space. But when he's able to get that extra space, he has more room to throw it over the top.
Kyle Lowry is like 5'10". Bobo, I don't want to hear them excuses. Or Taco Fall, he's like 7'7". Kyle Lowry is a legitimate 5'10". They make
Okay,
that man is 5'10".
What I'm saying is, this distance, if I'm standing in front of you and you're trying to throw the ball over my head, it'll be a lot easier if there's more distance between us.
Kyle Lowry is looking at that man's kneecap. He shouldn't make a pass over him at all.
But you can throw the ball up and over a lot easier if you have a better angle to get the ball over.
That man trash.
Okay, moving on. What's the next thing?
I can't believe you really are trying to campaign that Kyle Lowry should be able to make that pass at all. Yes, it's easier. He still shouldn't be able to make that pass. The Toronto Raptors.
You gotta put some more respect on Kyle Lowry as a passer then. If you don't think he should be able to make that pass.
Moving on to the Raptors.
I'm talking about Kyle Lowry.
Oh, we
the
are
Raptors.
talking about. Can we move on to somebody else first?
The Raptors get a W. OG Anunoby is a winner. He said Jaylen Brown takes some of that.
But they lost the series.
Hey, that's not what we're talking about, man. Come on, one game. He needed the rest of the team to win some more. Pascal Siakam has proved that he is not a number one option, like I knew coming into the season. But hey, you know.
I give them a W because I still feel like they have the coach of the year in Nick Nurse.
Oh, you know, they still winning for me.
Honestly, if it wasn't more of a popularity contest, Nick Nurse, who actually won? Was it the Thunder's coach?
I know it's like
that's who should have won.
Oh, Billy Donovan?
Yeah, Billy Donovan.
I don't think he won.
Because get Chris Paul, get that team to the playoffs, even if you have Chris Paul, I feel like you got to do some coaching. You got to do some coaching.
The coaching?
Bam, coach of the year, Nick Nurse, well deserved. That man can coach. He really can. He knows how to use people and what they're good at, and make the offense tool around to how it should be successful for that team. And that's just facts.
You know what?
I still feel like he has potential to be the number one option of a team.
Just not yet.
I wouldn't even say not yet. I just feel like it was thrown onto him unexpectedly. And he wasn't prepared for that kind of shine in that immediate moment. And when you go from being number 5 on the team to number 1 on the team and only one player really left 2 players, I guess, because you count Danny
Danny
Green.
Green, yeah.
But the thing about
Danny
Pascal
Green
is like a lot of
top
times.
5. But when you go from being like the 5th best option to the number 1 option, I mean, I can see how
Yeah.
you wouldn't react to it, especially with the offense changing to focus on you rather than you still playing within the system.
Well, then I have another question for you, Sam. Can you see Pascal Siakam having a sort of Jamal Murray experience? Because, you know, Jamal Murray last year played terribly in the NBA playoffs, and he's admitted to it. And he said it felt so good for him this year to be able to bounce back and play, you know, basketball at a high level in the playoffs. So can we see Pascal Siakam play at a much higher level and a much higher efficiency?
Yes. Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Compared to, I mean, a lot of times, honestly, when I was watching the Raptors game, I really watched like every playoff game.
Yeah.
It looks like he got played off the floor. Well, he didn't like actually get played off the floor, but a lot of times you didn't even notice he was there. He was just standing in the corner, and they were leaving him open. He wasn't hitting the shot. He wasn't doing much. He wasn't as aggressive as he usually is, and as he should be.
That's because they had his number.
Was that
They knew that he was gonna go to the rim,
That man was hurt.
spin move, and get a layup or a dunk. Go to the rim, spin, go to the rim, spin. And they was able to just read the scouting report and know, stop the spin move, you know? And that's really all he had.
He can be the number 1 option, just maybe not in the playoffs.
Okay. I'll give him that. Because during the regular season, he played well as a number 1 option. Maybe, you know, when teams get to the playoffs, they obviously are more focused on the defensive end. And so just maybe he's not a playoff number 1 option.
Or maybe he was hurt.
We'll see next year. That's a long time.
Moving on to the Bucks, it's an L for me. Like, stop being the best team in the league during the regular season and then getting to the playoffs and playing like chumps.
Yeah.
Giannis needs some real help because, yes, Chris Middleton can shoot, and yes, he's a smart player, so he can pick his spots and still be effective. But he's not a star, and Giannis is the only star on that team. Middleton is a very good player. He's not a star. And Giannis, Giannis just needs someone else to help him out.
And they need to keep Middleton, but, you know, with that contract, that might be hard. But they need to be able to keep him and still get that second guy, you know, because Middleton is a very efficient player, almost 50, 40, 90 this season.
Losing Brogdon hurt. Losing Brogdon really hurt. That was a really hard move. And I knew when he went to the Pacers, I was like, that's going to be trouble.
And even
George Hill, you had to rely on.
Even the first few games of the Pacers season, you saw Malcolm Brogdon was leading the league in assists, and he was out there. He was shooting 50, 40, 90 club for like the first 3 weeks of the season.
He was.
Like,
he's the reason the Pacers made it to the playoffs, because they was like, oh, without Oladipo is bad. And then Brogdon was like, he don't give me this ball.
Right. then Oladipo came back, and they were able to work him in and let him struggle, because coming off of that injury, you know, he wasn't going to step back on the court and be Oladipo from before the injury. You can't do that in one game.
Especially when it took him time to become that Oladipo.
Right. You can't do that in one game. So, you know, Malcolm Brogdon being there allowed Oladipo to get in there and mess up and be, you know, maybe not so good, you know, during his play. Because
I want to say something.
They can afford it.
I want to switch my focus to Giannis himself. I think Giannis took a big L with Jimmy Butler's performance in the finals, because Jimmy Butler, he did not shoot like pretty much at all. Like, he was driving to the rim,
got to the basket, getting fouls. He would shoot the occasional 3
for the 16 game.
But he
I mean, not 16 for the 6 games series in the finals. I think he attempted between 14 and 16 threes.
Yeah, and that's when them leaving him wide open too. Like they were like going back on the screens, like every time screen. What's it called tomorrow? I'm forgetting the term right now.
The back slip.
Yeah, they were slipping.
You're talking about when they would set the screen for Jimmy Butler, the defensive player would try to go over the screen instead of under. Is that what you're saying?
No, they're going under the screen.
Because if you go under the screen, you're staying attached. No, under is releasing. You right? My bad. That's on me. I'll take it.
All right, this is why we talk about basketball and not play basketball.
Whoa.
I have
Okay.
basketball
First of all-
experience.
I mean,
I have a college basketball point on my record.
college basketball point.
All right, y'all. Well, this video is actually getting a little longer than we thought. So actually, we're going to have to sign off. We'll talk about the West next time we sign on with 10 Talk. Like, comment, subscribe. Really comment. Like, let us know how you feel about the season. Let us know what your highs and lows was for the Eastern Conference. Let us know who you feel like is going to be better next season. Who's going to
Let us know if Jimmy Butler should get a haircut.
We don't need to know that. The answer is yes.
He said, look how well he's been playing without it.
Oh.
J. Cole said he thought about fixing his grill, but look how far he didn't got without it.
And then he fixed his grill. Very superstitious.
Yeah, that's true.
Go on and cut your hair, Jimmy.
All right, Jimmy, cut that hair. And send me a cup of coffee while you at it.
But yeah, this has been 10 Talk, Sports Talk. We'll be back next video with the Western Conference Finals.